Another very well-known constructivist theorist is Lev Vygotsky. And Lev Vygotsky is the theorist who came up with the zone of proximal development. And in a nutshell, what Vygotsky found was that for people to learn, we need to know their level of current learning and we need to build on it by just increasing the level of difficulty slightly. And he said if we never increase the level of difficulty, then our students become stagnant. Or if we make it too hard, then we're putting the new learning out of reach and our students will get frustrated and shut down. And so going along with that, then he came up with the term scaffolding. And we use this a lot in education of thinking about when we're introducing a new concept, we provide a lot of support. So we're there guiding and um, providing things, the new information through a variety of modalities, right? Using visuals, using examples that our students can relate to. We're checking in with them, doing little frequent comprehension checks. And as they begin to master the new learning, then we can remove that scaffolding. So I always think about new construction. Think of a high-rise building. If you drive by when they're just starting that building out, you see scaffolding on the outside of the building to support it and to give a place for the workers to safely be there working on the building. But as the building becomes stable, all of the metal and wooden scaffolding you see around the building will be removed. That's the role that Vygotsky says educators play. We have to provide that scaffolding. And the trick is what one student needs can be very different than what another student needs. Guided participation simply means that the teacher is providing opportunities to have the students interact with the new content, but the teacher is there to support those interactions, modify and adjust as needed. And then Vygotsky also talks about the importance of people learning how to self-regulate. So, how to know when they're getting frustrated and what they can do to avoid that, how to know how they learn best, and how they can construct their own meaning, and that we need to help our students develop those skills. So, just a couple of things about what I just told you about. Scaffolding is a shared activity. People need that support as they're learning. So it's not just an isolated event. And I love this. Vygotsky says a child is like a building that is actively constructing him or herself based on the things that are happening around them. He talks about the social environment being so important as that support system to help our students feel successful, and that the role of the teacher is that we provide enough support, not too much, not too little, so that students feel like they can make that progress. I love this quote in terms of what the ZPD, the zone of proximal development, is all about. The discrepancy between a child's actual mental age and the level he reaches in solving problems with assistance indicates the zone of proximal development. So, what can the student do independently versus where does he need support to progress on? A couple of things, as we've already said, that mental level always needs to be pushed, and that's the role that teachers play and others can play in a student's life as well. And it takes a lot of monitoring and checking in with students. And as I've already mentioned, if we're not working within a child's zone of proximal development, things are going to be either too easy or too difficult. So what are the implications of Vygotsky's work? Collaboration is key because as a teacher, you can't be working with each student individually all the time, right? Not possible. But if you have, Vygotsky would definitely go along with cooperative learning of having a variety of levels where students can support each other. Teachers always need to scaffold new concepts. In other words, we don't just teach it once and then throw our students out to the wolves, so to speak. We model it, we demonstrate it, we use hands-on activities, we do a variety of activities so that students are able to grasp the new concept. So our role is facilitators, right? Providing students with the tools, the knowledge that they need to help them learn. And Vygotsky also focused on language development, that it's key to support students' language development because that helps students process and it helps them understand and it helps them express their new understanding. And finally, I want to mention one other constructivist theorist. Jerome Bruner is more of a contemporary. And like Piaget, like Vygotsky, he believes learning is an active process and that learners build their new knowledge based on what they've learned in the past. So you see a lot of his work, he focuses mainly on learning, whereas Vygotsky and Piaget also brought in the social aspect of constructivism. So just so you know his name and that you associate Bruner with the constructivist theory as well. And what he's saying is we want to encourage our students to discover new principles. So then our role becomes setting up an environment that builds on students' current understanding. And that he really makes a suggestion that the curriculum in our schools should spiral so that we're constantly going back to what our students already know and building on that. And that through that way, our students are going to have the most success. So let's just wrap up the theory part of our class with just a quick visual to show you the main differences among these three theories. So the behaviorists, and I put some dates in there in terms of when these theories have been the most popular, the most studied, but please know that there are still people out there who are strong behaviorists in terms of their thinking about learning. The behaviorists, learning happens as a result of a change of behavior. Social cognitive theorists, learning happens from observing actions and the consequences of others. Constructivists say learning is a change of knowledge, how your brain is putting new things together to make new connections. So extremely different ways of looking at learning. And I hope as we've been doing this, you've been thinking about which one matches your belief the most. Oftentimes in classrooms, you'll see a mix. You'll see some things like maybe classroom management systems that tend to support the behaviorist idea. If you see teachers who are using a lot of inquiry lessons, those tend to fit the constructivist model. Cooperative learning fits really both into the social cognitive and the constructivist modes of thinking. So a lot of times you'll see teachers using a variety of these three theories.